Hello, folks, and welcome to our evening check-in time together. It's Wednesday. Put in the title Wednesday. I think days the days kind of run together pretty good here after a little while. So feel free as you're jumping in here and just let me know who's here with us this evening. Do a little attendance here. So Barb and Alan, welcome, and hi, Mom, and Michelle and Jen. It's good to see you guys here this evening. It's getting warm out, isn't it? I don't know if is it gonna cool off a little bit the next couple of days when it starts raining? Maybe. Hi, Brian. Hi, Vicky and Charlie. It's good to see you guys. So yeah, it's getting warm out, but nice out. It's actually for us, it's hotter in our house than it is outside. It's time to put air conditioners in, which maybe I should have done today, but it is what it is. So in any case, there's a child behind me to say hi. You gonna wave hi, Isaac? So I want to talk about today what's on my mind here today, and that relates to a little bit of how we can change. How do we grow in certain areas of our lives? Because sometimes I think we just sort of expect God to zap change into us, but it doesn't often work that way. We got a parade of kids coming out here, don't we? Let's see over me. There's Anna.
Hi.
Say hi. Anna just finished her ice cream. You got a little bit of chocolate on you. There. So, hey, Chuck and Carol and Jerry, good evening. So we think about this, in our own lives, and we think about it sometimes too, if we're parents, as we teach our kids, how do we get these lessons in? How do we grow in certain areas of our lives? So just as an example, don't stop shaking the table here. Just as an example, today, I want to talk about patience. So if you want to be more patient, who wants to be more patient? Raise your hand. No, you don't, liar. How do we become more patient? Maybe we think about praying for it, which is good. That's okay. But at the same time, again, that kind of reverts back to the idea that if I'm going to change, God is just going to have to make me change, right? Is going to have to change me for me. I want to suggest to you that that's not necessarily always, or generally speaking, how it works, how change works in our lives. It happens through, hi Jay and Jill and Heath. Change happens in our lives. Yes, it involves God's grace and God's power in our lives, but it involves some action on our behalf as well. In 1 Timothy chapter 4, verse 7, Paul writes to Timothy, he says, train yourself to be godly. Train yourself to be godly. In other places, Paul talks about going into training, like as in for like Olympic kind of games. They go into training for that. He says to win a crown that won't last. We go into training for a crown that will last. So what does that training look like? And it's different for different areas, and probably depending on what area it is that we want to grow in is really going to depend on the kind of training that we need to do. So I have an example today, and involves kids as well. So today this package came in the mail, and we know what's in it. It's shoes, a couple pair of shoes. One of them is for one of the kids. So I want to ask you this question: when you get a package in the mail, how long do you wait before opening it?
5 months.
Never.
If you're a kid in the house, you open it sometimes before it even gets in the house, right? You open it instantly. And one of the things that we've been trying to learn is that you don't just open any package that comes because it might not be for you. Okay? So we're trying to learn that lesson as well too. Don't shake the table, please. But there's things we can do. So for example, as we sort of tie this in together, if we don't feel like we're very patient, what's something that we can do, or some things that we can do to build patience in ourselves? We can't just snap our fingers and become more patient people, but we can do things. Sometimes we can discipline ourselves in smaller ways to learn to become more patient. And I've heard examples like we can get into the longest line at the grocery store because we get really impatient, right? When things don't move along as quickly, we can get on the highway in the slow lane and not pass people. You can just have kids that will either teach you patience or insanity. That will be another option. And I borderline on either one depending on the moment. But one of the things that I've been doing today for them to help them is that I've been asked every about 10 minutes, can we open this box yet? Since it came early this morning. And all day I've said, not yet, not yet. What are we doing? We're teaching patience, right? We're training ourselves in that way to be more patient, to wait, to delay gratification. And look, there's a cost. There's a cost to impatience. And when we model that ourselves and we teach it to our kids and others, right? When we want to buy something and we don't have the money, do we wait and save money? No, we don't do that, right? We whip out that credit card and run it through because we want to have it right away. But when we do things, when we do things like that, and I've done that plenty of times. Look, I'm not casting any judgment here by any means. But the more we discipline ourselves, we become different in our character. When we do small things to build into our lives, I think what we're doing is what Paul's talking about here, training ourselves to be godly, right? Different characteristics of what is godliness. So that's just one thought here today. I'll probably now let them open this. I get the idea a couple hours ago. I said I want to use this package as an illustration here for our time this evening. Maybe I'll let them open it now. Maybe I won't. We'll see. But think about whatever area it is in your life that you get the most frustrated with your lack of growth, and maybe ask yourself, what are some things I can do? We can't just will ourselves into being different, but we can train ourselves, right? Just like if we just decide today, I've been sitting on the couch and I want to run a marathon. We don't just stand up and run a marathon. We can't do it. We're not capable. But when we get up every day and get out there and run a little bit, and then a little bit more, and then a little bit more, we're training ourselves to do something or be something that we're now not currently doing. That's, I believe, a big part of what spiritual disciplines are. We could think about a lot of them, but we're running out on time here. So thank you for joining me here this evening, and think about what areas in your life, maybe one area that you want to grow in, and think about maybe things you can work into your life to help you to grow into being that kind of a person, to train yourself to be the kind of person that you want to be. Because again, I think that, most of us here have lived long enough now already to know that that internal character change doesn't happen to us just by accident. Now we know that we don't do it all by ourselves either, right? It's God's grace at work in us. But my experience is that God doesn't generally push us off the sofa to do things. It's when we it's when we move that his power, works within us in all kinds of areas of life. So thanks, guys, for joining us here this evening. We'll see you again tomorrow. And I hope you have a great night. And I love you all. Bye.